Hello, hello. Gonna try to fix what's going on here. Okay. Hi. Gonna wait a couple minutes till we have hopefully some new people here, because I didn't really announce this like publicly early enough, so I should have though. But here we are. How is everyone on this Tuesday day? Hi, Karan. How's everyone's start to the spring season? At least in the northern hemisphere. Wow. At least in the northern hemisphere. I have my book this time. I'm home. I'm not in Germany. I have my book. I have my notes. I'm more awake than I was before. I even have a list of future books to like vote on. So the way that I'm thinking for the voting, I might have it just be done through here, or I might put it up through like an Instagram vote. We'll see. We'll see what you guys decide, how you want to go about it, because I'm good with either way. But since you're here, it might be better to have you have the upper hand. You know, I'm gonna put the thing here. It's decided. It's autumn there. Okay, you're in the southern hemisphere, I believe. Australia? Are you from Australia? It is 10 o'clock, and I'm really excited to have you guys here and hang out with all of you, because I haven't been here in a while. Yeah, anyways. Hi. So last time we did this, or like tried to talk about this book, I was in Germany. I was extremely jet lagged. I didn't have my book. I was not very prepared. Didn't go over that great. And unfortunately, and this time I have my book. I feel a bit more prepared. Also, last time a couple people haven't finished the book completely, so hopefully the time span gave you an opportunity to finish, or to however you were able to get to. And that's okay if you didn't finish. It's not like it's homework that you had to do. And we could still talk about it, and we could still talk about the books and share ideas and our experiences and all of that wonderful stuff that comes with reading new things. I love reading new things. I have recently got maybe like 8 new books, and I haven't finished reading past couple of books that I wanted to get reading, but I was in the moment. I was at the bookstore. They looked interesting, and they were on my to-be-read pile as of now. I think during one of my lives, I talked about there's 2 types of people. There are bookworms and there are book dragons. Bookworms are those people that will take a book and devour it completely, like read it end to end right away, and then start the next book and read it completely until they get like the next book. Book dragons like to collect books and hoard books and hang on to books. And we were trying to see who's a bookworm and like who's a book dragon. I am a both, because I enjoy my stash of books and just displaying them and just seeing, you know, little piles of books or books on bookshelves and that sort of thing. But I also like to read them continuously. So I am both. Are you a bookworm or a book dragon, or a little bit of both? You have sent an email. I have responded to the request that I have received and sent the emails back. Check either your spam folder or your promotions folder, because I have responded to any emails that I've received. Just putting that up there. Definitely a dragon. A warm dragon. A worm dragon. Okay. I like that. I don't know. I like that and like don't like that, but I like that, if that makes sense. Let's see. So, Karan, check your dragon worm. Dragon worm sounds a little bit better. So Karan, check your email. Check either your spam folder or your promotions tab folder. See if you received it, because I did respond to all of the emails and inquisitions that I have received. Okay. Cool. So, who here has finished the book, or like got most of it read, or where are you in your book devouring journey? I have finished it. I actually read this book before we even decided on reading this book and had a review of it up on my website already, but I just loved it, and I think it's a really good book to like recommend people who, especially I would say solitary practitioners. I would definitely recommend reading this book, or if you've been practicing for a while as a solitary practitioner. To me, it just felt like it gave so much inspirement or so much acknowledgement that what I have been doing was like practicing magic or that sort of thing, if that makes sense. But yeah, let me know where you're at in your book reading journey. Where I could just start with some interesting information and just kind of go through some of my tabs here. All right, some information would be good. So I'm trying to see like which notes that I should start with would be best. Seven steps to create habits. Yes. I also really like, so he talks about creating habits. I'm trying to find that one. Not sure where that page is at. He talks about creating habits and how to work with, I think I found it. Maybe. 7 steps to a pagan practice. So he has 7 steps to create to a pagan practice, and I'll kind of go over a little bit of that. It's on page 12 if you have the book. And step 1 is connecting with spirit. Step 2 is creating a sacred space. Step 3 is creating a sacred time. Step 4, sacralizing daily activities. Step 5, observe regular hustles. Events. Step 6, observe the holy tides. And step 7, find your folk. So these are the kind of his 7 steps to a pagan practice. And I'll go over a little bit of the information of what he says, because I really, really like the way he puts it into like a simple kind of form of an explanation, and how he goes over like ways to do it, or kind of gives you like a motivation of ways to do it. And connecting with the spirit, he goes over either finding a pantheon or going something. So it says you have already made at least one ephemeral connection with spirit, assuming you have performed the dedication rite. So there was a dedication rite to your spiritual path in connecting with a form of spirit or entity. And it talks about going with different pantheons or finding something that you feel very connected to, something that will help you elevate your spirit and something that will help you connect to higher energies and to deities or to anything that kind of works that way. First time making it to book like, hi. All right, let's see what we got. Chapter 5, the gardening, etc. I'm trying to do these here. Nice. And he goes over like establishing an altar for them or finding a private space or making sure that you don't get too hung up of like, I should be doing this, but more of so of like feeling what's right for you. And let's see. And it goes, when it comes to choosing a pantheon, as well as all other things, take action. Do not worry whether or not you have chosen the right pantheon, because there is no right or wrong answer to it. And I really like that he emphasizes your own personal practice, your own personal path, to walk your own personal pagan path. And he doesn't like enforce or instill saying that, oh, you have to do this in order to be considered XYZ. So I really, really like that part of it. The next step, let's see. First live streaming, hello. Then he goes, step 2 is creating sacred space. And it says, either the gods have a place in one's home or they do not. So setting up an altar or setting up even like a little corner or a little spot on the shelf, something that you dedicate to a specific energy or a specific entity that you're able to come to and enjoy and connect with it. It's kind of giving an anchoring point to between you and who you're working with or who you're trying to connect with. And he goes over how he sets up his kind of altar or his kind of space and gives you influences and ways that you can like design your own spot or where you can do it and that sort of thing. So that is really nice of him. And he even talks about how you can go about setting up your sacred space if you're still in the broom closet, which is also very nice, and doing it outside and that sort of thing. Definitely like the way he explains stuff. He did talk about going to your deities with a problem is like seeking an audience with the king, whereas going to your ancestors is like asking help from your family. So he mentioned how much like elevated deities are versus your ancestor. And I kind of agree with it, but I kind of disagree with it. So contacting with your ancestors, it's definitely a little bit more of a connection or like more of a background, more like a family history, that sort of thing. But talking with deities or connecting with deities, yes, you have to show them respect. Yes, you have to be conscious of what you're asking, conscious of what you're saying, being very present in the moment while you're with them. But I disagree with him that you have to like tiptoe around them or try to be like almost afraid of them, because if you've reached out to a deity or maybe even a deity reached out to you and you have made contact with them, they're already on a thought process of wanting to work with you, more or less. So be respectful, but don't be like scared to ask or talk to them. I mean, scared is different. Let me see if I can rephrase this. Give me a second. I'm trying to find the words. Not exactly, don't feel intimidated. Okay, you can be scared, but you can be intimidated, but don't let that affect your communication with them. Does that make sense? Because there's one thing to sit back and be in complete awe and shock and just go completely blank and be too nervous to ask anything or go along with your mission. And there's also still being nervous, still feeling all of that, oh my God, but moving forward with what you're trying to get to. Does that make it more clear? Okay. Don't be apprehensive. There we go. There's the word. Let's see. Started reading the book. Hi. I don't think that I am very pagan, as in don't seem to have any ideas how to use my ideas on it. I don't think I'm explaining this very well, but I'm very interested in how this all works. So, being pagan is an incredibly broad term. Pagan religion just means it is not an Abrahamic religion. Abrahamic religion is Christianity, Judaism, and that other one that I always forget. Hold on. As I'm thinking of a word, I know kind of how to say it, but I want to make sure I say it properly. Islam. Okay. There's Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So those are the three Abrahamic religions. Anything other than those three would be considered pagan-based. So when I call myself a pagan, I don't subscribe to any particular religion or to any particular ideology. And same with this book. It just talks about spirituality and connecting with earth, connecting with the energies around you, connecting with the elements, with the season changes, and all of that fun stuff that affects everybody's lives in a way. And following those ideas is considered to be pagan. But you can also be of a specific religion within the pagan community. Like you can be Buddhist, or you can be Wiccan, or you can, there's more that I can't think of right now. That sort of thing. So pagan is just a very broad overlay term of anything that is not an Abrahamic religion. Does that make sense? My thought is energy. It's like asking for a request and energy aligns. That's a good way. Let's see. Italian witchcraft is different. We let the spirits know that we won't give them peace until we get what we want. I love that. Oh, we won't give them peace until we get what we want. Okay. I like that. That's a good approach to it too. Oh man, that's great. All right, so step 3. Step 3 is creating a sacred time. I also like how he emphasizes your choice of your time, and that if things happen, like if you get the flu, it's okay to miss what you're deciding to do, but to like try to be as consistent as you can, but don't like kill yourself over it, if that makes sense. He goes, consistency requires a realistic goal on your part. And setting the realistic goals, like if you haven't done any of this, if you haven't come up to your altar, or if you haven't done meditating or any all that stuff, and you just say, okay, from today on, I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes every single day, come up to my altar after I do so, and like give an offering every single day. But if you haven't built up that habit, I mean, there's some people that can do that, and kudos to them, because I want to know what your magic is. I am not that kind of person. I need to like build up slowly before I can get to that every single day type of thing. So building up a habit for me, starting off is like, okay, maybe I will do this once a week. And if I can pick on a specific day for that once a week, then I will go with that specific day. But if I just say once a week, then I will just try to do it once within that 7 days. And after a while, or if I do it more often than that, that's even better. And then for a couple weeks later, move it up to consistently doing it 3 times a week, so on and so forth. So building it up, and don't be too hard on yourself, because I was in the boat where I would be really excited and there's a specific meditation or a specific energy that I want to work on, or a specific thing that I needed to learn, which required constant attention and consistency. And I'd be like, okay, I'm going to be doing this every day for like half an hour. How long do you think that lasted? At the first start, that lasted 3 days in a row. And then the fourth day, I ended up having something else to do and I didn't have time for it, which ended up making me feel all upset about it, that I didn't stay consistent with it. And then the following day, I also had something that came up. So I missed 2 days already. And then by the third day, I felt embarrassed to kind of go back to it. And then it kind of snowballs. So don't be hard on yourself and set realistic goals. And I love how he emphasizes on it very well. All right, on to the next one, sacralize daily activities. And says, you have connected with your gods and your ancestors. You have created a sacred space, an altar, where you can approach them and have set sacred time to do so. When you have done all of this, the time has come for your next action, which is to expand your spiritual awareness beyond the altar and more fully into your life, which is to walking a pagan path throughout your entire life journey. Doing things with intention, doing things while being mindful, making sure you are aware of your actions and how reactions can happen from it. And he talks about integrating spirituality with the rest of your lives. And he goes over some of his examples and that sort of thing. So he puts an example of how he integrates his body, mind, and spirit into his writing. He sets aside a moment for prayer and he says, Woden, world wanderer, let my words be true, that they might bring honor to my folk and to the elder ways. Ich bide the nu. So he has a little saying that I'm making sure that's in. He has a little saying that he shares. And I love that he gives like personal examples from his own practice, and you can tell that he's been a practicer for a while, which is really, really awesome. And one of my little notes here says that I like that he incorporates make intention to everyday things, but making it a habit to speak out loud the energies or the entities would be even like better. So I would make tea, and if they're in specific ingredients, I would kind of sit over it, think over it, of meditating the intention that I have for this tea. Like for today, my tea was to make me less nervous and more communicative, and just be able to share my message with you guys and make it entertaining and fun, and hopefully you will see me in the next video. And that's what my tea is for today, but I didn't say it out loud, nor did I invoke any deities or any other energies other than my tea for doing this. So yeah. All right, I need to call out and say hi to people because I have missed that in talking about stuff. So let's see. Hi, Karan. Hi, Taylor. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Necro. Hi, Shamelessly Creative, and Brandy, and Angelo. I am so glad to have you guys here. And Kayla, hi. Right, I missed a couple messages, so give me a moment to read them. Ooh, we got more books information on there. From Sicily, cool. Question, do certain people have more spirituality than others? No, but some people are able to access their spirituality or be more aware of their spirituality than others. And that goes back to working on yourself, practice, understanding the energies around you, studies, and learning. So I don't think one person has more spirituality than the other. I just think that those who constantly use it and access it and be more aware of it just have a easier way of accessing it than someone who has done no work, if that makes sense. Okay. The habits section is so good for me being neurodivergent. Hi, my neurodivergent folks. Let's see. All right, so we found out people finding out about their heritage, which is awesome. Let's see. And then we have step 5 is observing regular, however you pronounce it. Husles is an Old English word meaning sacrifice and is simply a more formal offering usually given to a specific spirit. So he talks about connecting with the spirit and creating a sacred space, but he also is talking about creating a specific, more formal offering to a specific entity for like a specific reason or like a celebration or that sort of thing. And he talks about how they take much longer than a personal devotion or like a quick offering. And it could be celebrated with a group or turned into like a whole ritual of its own, that sort of thing. Then we have step 6, observing the holy tides, which is the wheel of the year and the seasons and the ebbs and flows of energy and changes and that sort of stuff. So I think that's important. At least the 4 solstices, the 2 solstices and equinoxes, which happen. Hold on, let me find my words because I just was reading that and things are popping up and then I'm being distracted. Let me find my words. Give me a second. I think at least following the 4 seasonal changes, the summer solstice, the fall equinox, the winter solstice, and the spring equinox is pretty important as a practitioner or someone who's trying to connect with the elements because they are signals of how the astrology is changing, how the light on earth is changing, how the season and the direction of like the tilt of the world is going to be affecting you and how that's going to be affecting the way plants grow, the way the energies form, the way the tides are going. So following those 4 I would think is pretty important for a practitioner. Doesn't mean you have to. But he also talks about the other 4 Sabbaths, such as Samhain and the other one. There's Lughnasadh and Beltane, and all of those, the other 4 that happen throughout the year. And I also really like how he mentions, I'm not sure if it's in this section or if it's in a further section, how you can add your own days into the calendar that you celebrate. So it doesn't have to be just the 4 or just the 8 Sabbats that you go by, but you can also add in something that's special to you or something that makes you feel more connected. If you have a tradition with your family where on first warm day you go out on a picnic or that sort of thing, that can become part of your calendar, that sort of stuff. Then he talks about step 7, finding your folk, is finding a community who you can work with who have similar ideas, or you can remain solitary. So finding my channel and hanging out with you awesome guys is kind of a way of finding your folk. I've been solitary practitioner. I have not really had any interactions with people in person other than my cousin on occasion. She sometimes joins my circles. But I have been part of a circle from like a different community, that sort of thing. And I just haven't found my folk in my area. And I know people who have found their folk in their areas, which is wonderful. It all depends on how you feel connected and what works for you. And just find ways that will help elevate you and raise your vibrations. So that is that. That is the 7 steps for his habits of making a pagan practice. And then he goes more in depth on those other things. Let's see. I'm reading the comments over here. Do you think you'll ever do a meet and greet situation down for a road trip? Meet and greet? Yeah, that might be something fun to do at some point. I was in Michigan, I think it was 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now. And I did a little meet and greet while I was traveling through Michigan before I left. And I had a couple of my followers. We went to a little restaurant thing and we kind of hung out. So doing a meet and greet here, I'm from Massachusetts. I was just visiting there. Somewhere near Massachusetts might be fun to do at some point. I will have to think about it. That sort of thing. So you're from Michigan. Hi, Brandy from Michigan. I did post a video of going to Salem. I think that was a year ago. Yes, I went to Salem twice, but I didn't do a meet and greet in Salem. I just kind of went there. Doing a meet and greet in Salem might be interesting, but I will not be doing it anywhere near the month of October. I'm sorry, there's just way too many people there, and I think it might be a little bit too chaotic. So maybe a meet and greet and say, that kind of sounds a little cliche though, no? Witchy in a witchy place? Maybe. Okay, moving on. We could talk about that at some point, but I think that will be a fun thing to do. All right. So someone else mentioned about the gardening part. There is a gardening section, or I'm sitting on my hair. He has examples of how to incorporate more of nature into your... Oh man. I have a call and I can't pick up right now. Sorry. Okay, so I like how he has examples and ways to incorporate more nature into your practice, because pagan paths are usually, well, they are nature-based. And he talks about beekeeping or gardening or having chickens. Let's see, I'm going through it. Or planting fruit trees. And I was inspired by him to plant a bunch of fruit trees in my front yard because it was just plain and empty. And now it's covered in little fruit trees. Right now they're little because I got them as babies, so they're kind of sticks with a couple twigs on them. Right now it's spring and they're getting a little bit of green buds on it. And my front yard was relatively big and just covered in grass and pretty much useless, and now it just has a whole bunch of sticks sticking out of it because of the fruit trees. I think there's 10 that we planted, but I'm excited to when they look less like sticks and more like trees, which will hopefully be towards the summertime. Oh man. Okay, so I would love to meet Boston, Salem. Cliche, but Salem is so good. Let's see. Runs the Boston Marathon. Cool. More nature. Yeah, so I hope in order to get fruit from most trees, from like the size that I have planted, it would take them about 3-ish years before they will give me any fruit, which is an investment. But I'm very excited to one wonderful late spring or like summer morning when the trees have bloomed and they have their fruits and that sort of thing, where I would leave my house in the morning and walk through my little orchard and just pick plums and peaches and have my breakfast. Like I'm envisioning that is my manifestation, me coming out into my front yard in a bathrobe, I don't even care, and picking a whole bunch of fruit for my breakfast. Like that will be the pinnacle of my life. So that's that. Time to start your pollinator gardens too then. There's another section of So my house is set up a little bit weird. We have like land, but we don't really have land that's easily used because we kind of live on a hill type of thing. And so the hill that I can't really plant anything on unless I like set it up in a certain way or like turn it into a gardening, which will require a lot of work. I just cover in a whole bunch of wildflower seeds and just have it covered in wildflowers, which I love. And then there's like, I make sure they're native to my area so that we don't go any crazy things all around. But I love it because I also collect the flowers and like make pressed flowers for art and that sort of thing. And that attracts bees and that has my pollinator stuff. And it's just pretty. And it probably drives my neighbors crazy because it's not a perfectly primed and trimmed lawn, but I like it and I don't care. Let's see. Lemon and citrus tree, front yard. Nice. So it's not warm enough for citrus tree, but we do have a lemon tree inside. Um, milkweed. Milkweed is no, I think it's called a butterfly bush or something like that. That specifically attracts monarch butterflies. Or is it a milkweed bush? There was something my best friend has in her front yard, and each time I visit her in the summertime, it is like covered in butterflies, and I love it, and I want to get that. Is is milkweed like is it a bush, or am I thinking of something else? I'm getting derailed. And then talking about butterflies, I like going hiking, and if you go hiking through like fields that has wildflowers, and if you're really careful, I know this is kind of sad, but it happens because it's nature. You can see butterflies that have passed away, and I like to collect their wings. I know that's kind of macabre, but they're pretty. I can use them for art. And that's another thing that I look out for during the summer times when I go hiking and looking at things is butterfly wings. Okay, hold on. That kind of got really sad. Moving on. Yeah, ethical artwork. Okay, I feel a little bit less sad of talking about it now. Ethical artwork. There we go. Oof. Okay, back to the book. Oh, I had a page dubbed here. I know Easter just passed. If anybody was celebrating Easter, or if you want to do any um, egg coloring in the future, I hope it's not mirrored and that you're able to read it. But it talks about natural dyes and how you can dye your egg. So if you want to do like a blue violet color, use violet. If you want it blue, use red cabbage. Green, use spinach leaves, and so on and so forth, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Ooh, Native Australian bees. They have no sting. I'm trying to convince my husband to start a beehive so that we could so that we can start having our own honey, because I love honey. It is a wonderful thing. It is a natural sweetener. It's so good for you. All of that fun stuff. And he's almost on board with it, but I think that might be a next year thing, since the trees would be able to have more flowers and things for it, and I'll just have more stuff around my area for pollen for them. But I definitely want to do some beekeeping. Yeah. So there's an entire section of beekeeping on the book, and he gives advice and tips. And I like that he gives advice in reaching out to beekeepers, like within kind of your community. If I remember correctly, I think he said it within your area. That way they might have tips or information or that sort of thing. But right now, in order to get our honey, and I try to get local honey, there's an apple orchard like a couple blocks away from us, which has really good honey. Another thing about local honey that is really good is that it can help reduce like spring allergies if you take it every once in a while, because it already has that pollen and it has that floral and nature elements that's around your area that your body can get used to, so that you're not sneezing, wheezing, and dying when allergy season comes around. At least it's helpful. Let's see. Spin your own wool and dye that. That is awesome. That is really cool. Yes, this book has a lot of good information. It might seem little, but it's not overly detailed and complicated, but it has enough information to get you started and pointed in the right direction. And I really, really enjoyed this book. I'm really glad that everyone agreed to have this as the first book for a book club. Want to see if... So there's the chapters. I'm going to read off the chapters of what they have. And it says 7 Steps to a New Way of Living. It talks about the sacral calendar, daily devotions, familiar spirits, leaf and fruit, bark and branch, the birds and the bees, making food, pagan crafts, and Yule. And it goes over a lot of information of how to incorporate ways of magic and spirituality into your everyday life. And when he says everyday life, it's not something super drastic, like you have to completely change things now. He talks he makes it seem so easy to get it incorporated into your life, because it is pretty easy because you're already doing some of these things. I think I said way too many words for what I was trying to say, but I think you know what I mean. Let's see. Local honey, good topping on smoothies and toast. Yes. Isn't full of fluff. No, it is not full of fluff. One thing, he does talk about working with deities more often than I would suggest. Like, I don't work with deities very often, but a lot of pagan practices are based on working with deities, and so he emphasizes that. But he also emphasizes your ancestral connection and your connection with nature and your connection with the elements and your connection with the wheel of the year and all that stuff. So it is a really good book, especially if let me find the word of how I want to say it. It's good for beginners, but I think this is exceptionally good for people who have started doing something or trying to get into something and are unsure if what they're doing is kind of what they're supposed to be doing. I think I think this book is really great for those people who are kind of starting something and are just unsure what next steps to take. And he just makes it so like wonderfully confident, or makes you confident that you are going in the right direction. There's that. Yes, he would go off on like a little tangent, and it seems like his chapters are written not cohesively. Like he'd write one chapter, then he'd start the next one, so they seem a little bit choppy. But yes, and I would definitely recommend this book to a lot of people. Good night. Thank you for staying up and hanging out with me, even though it's so late over there. So, that is that. Does anybody else want to offer anything for the book or the information? So, yeah. I'm going to respond to my friend while you guys discuss and see if I can do something else. I apologize for this. I might have to cut this meeting short a little bit. Grass to Overlords. That's a good one. Let's see if I'm going to go through my tabs and see if there's anything else I'd like to add. Right at the start, like within the introduction, he says, depending on your life design, some of the ideas presented here may be useful, but only after they have been altered for your own use. And again, he really emphasizes it as your own personal pagan path. So I really like that. And talking about with connecting with spirits, says try to feel the presence of the spirits around you. It does not matter whether you feel, see, or hear anything. Very often the adage, no news is good news, holds true when interacting with the spirit world. So there's that one. Hard time with manifestations. Any tips to help? Tips to help with manifestations. Be consistent and clear of what you want. So take a moment to write down in absolute great detail completely of what you want that you're trying to manifest, and speak it out loud or find other energies to kind of intertwine with what you're trying to achieve. But also you have to work towards it. So for example, if like I'm going to school for psychology, and one of my goals to manifest is to become a psychologist. And I keep putting that out in the world. I keep wanting that to happen. But I also have to go to college and get my classes and get my degree in order for me to become a psychologist. So you also have to put in the work to help you get there, because you can't. It's a much deeper topic than trying to say that, but it's be clear, be consistent, and you yourself work towards it. So manifesting things. Okay, you completely understand. There we go. I'm trying to say stuff, and it's not coming out the way that I wanted to. Okay, so the next book. Great way to end this. I have 3 options for books, and while you guys are here, I am going to put this put it up for a vote. So the first book is Elemental Witchcraft by Heron Michelle, and it's living a magical life through the elements. So it's also like Pentacle Path, and so beginning your witchcraft journey on the Pentacle Path, a wholly unique system of magical practice that incorporates ritual magic, journey work, and spellcraft to help you fully engage with the elements. featuring dozens of illustrations and more than 50 rituals, spells, meditations, etc. I have not read this book, so these that I'm recommending right now are books that I have not read. So that is one option. Next option is, I did purchase this book. I am interested in it. And it's called The Kabbalah of Light by Catherine Shainberg. And it is a step-by-step guide to Kabbalistic practices to connect with your natural inner genius and liberate the light within you. She reveals how to tap instantly into the subconscious and receive answers to urgent questions. This method is called the Kabbalah of Light, originated with Rabbi Isaac the Blind in 1160, and has been passed down in an unbroken transmission spanning more than 800 years. So this will be kind of interesting to read through. And then there is The Crooked Path by Keldon, and part the thorny bramble and take a walk along the bewitchingly mysterious crooked path. Within these pages, discover a wealth of hands-on tips and techniques to begin your journey into the realm of traditional witchcraft. So that's more of traditional witchcraft, and it's more like an overview of things. So one book is based on witchcraft through the elements. The other book is based on tapping into your subconscious and your creativity, liberating the light within you. And the last book is an overview of an introduction to traditional witchcraft. So I am going to start a poll. Okay, hold on. So we have elemental witchcraft, then Kabbalah of Light, and should probably spell things correctly. The Crooked Path. So I am asking that. Hi, Narishia. So here are these options. Ooh. Got 50-50 for now. Uh-oh. Need that like na 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 music. And all of these will be available on Amazon. Should be available at Amazon or your possibly local bookstore, that sort of thing. All right. I know they do all sound so interesting and hard to choose from, but we got to pick one. We got to pick one, and then next time we can pick through 3 as well. All right, so I have 8 votes in out of 11 people that are currently on. It seems that elemental witchcraft is winning. I mean, you can read all 3 of the books. Doesn't matter. You can read all 3 of them. Tell you the price. All right, so I'm going to look up the other one. So the elemental witchcraft, I'm actually just going to plop the codes in. The elemental witchcraft is around $27. Add the link to it. Then I haven't looked up that one. The Kabbalah of Light is around $20. that one. And last but not least, the Crooked Path is around $16. This is in US dollars. All right, there are those. I'm a dragon I'll probably buy and then not read the extras for 5 years. There's that. All right, so those are the links for you guys. And it appears that Elemental Witchcraft is the winner. So we will do that one. I will announce the date for the next book club meeting, which will be next month. Probably on a Tuesday. I think doing these on like a Tuesday will work. Maybe either the 9th or the 16th. So I will put that up on my website, and I will also announce it to my Instagram. So next book, I'm going to type it in the chat over here. Oh, no, I don't want to leave the site. Next book is Elemental Witchcraft. Okay, that was that one. And you don't have to read the book to participate in the book club. You could just come hang out and we can just talk about them. And if you find the talk about the book interesting and you want to get it to read it after the book club is done, then that's all on you. This is just a way to talk about books. I picked up the wrong one. Way to talk about books. Get our creative juices going, get our spirituality going, and all of that fun stuff. So this will be fun. This will be good. And not only that, I get suggestions of books from you guys, which will help add to my dragon book hoard. So all will be good. Okay. Thank you guys for joining and hanging out with me. This was fun. Hello. That is that. I will let you know when I'm going to end the poll. I'm going to let you know when the next one is. So, yeah, it's good talking with you guys. Good hanging out with you guys. And I love you all, and I'll see you later. Many blessings to you and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and all of yours.